Good evening. Happy Tuesday to you. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us. Radio Family, we continue the programming, but TV Family, karibuni sana. My name is Medu Nyambura. The show is This Is the Day. And Big Tuesday, we look at the do's and don'ts. And I want to thank the person who gave us this topic. You texted in and said, can we look at how we do interviews? And who am I to say no? So because I keep saying this is not my playing field, we have a gentleman by the name of Mwendwa Itumbiri, who's a HR practitioner who'll be letting us know how to maneuver the interview waters. Let me tell you, interviews are scary. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Medrin.
Yes, I got your name right.
Mwenda.
Mwenda. What did I say? Mwendwa?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Mwenda.
Yeah.
Sawa sawa. Karibu sana. We are happy you're here. Donald from Mombasa, you've tuned in. Karibu. Such a friend to the family. So we were talking off air, and I was telling you how interviews make people so nervous, me included. And once you, let's even start from the beginning, pre-interview. You've seen the interview in the papers, you've seen it online, and they say you apply. Here's the challenge. In the many qualifications, they ask for 7 years of experience. You have 2 years. So do you give yourself confidence and apply, or what happens?
It depends. Of course, many people have made a joke that I have 2 years experience and 7 years of doing something that perhaps may not be related to what you do or what is required. It depends on the nature of a job. There are jobs that define the experience. If it is 7 years experience, looking at the nature and the level of that position, I would not encourage anyone with 2 years experience to apply. Because during screening, you are likely to be left out. Again, it may discourage someone, especially if they continue trying. A 7 years experience, and they have to. They do that 3 times. They may think they are not worthy, or they are not. Yes, they are not qualified enough. Yes, it can discourage or lower their self-esteem. So it is good to observe what the organization that is looking for someone is looking at and looking for.
Okay. Yeah. But Mwenda, let me ask you, do you know how sometimes the qualifications are way off? Because where will you get someone below the age of 30 with 5 years experience, maybe in being a HR and all that? People always argue, where am I supposed to get the experience? Maybe you should tell us, where do you get that experience so that when time comes, you can apply for the job?
Yeah. When I was looking for a job, I did a lot of voluntary work around the area that I wanted to pursue. Of course, many organizations, including the organization I work for, CIC Insurance Group, there are those opportunities. Of course, there is a procedure to get those opportunities, where you apply for a voluntary or internship or attachment, depending on where you are. If you're in college, an attachment for 3 months, anytime you're out of session. And those sessions build your experience. By the time you are through with your degree course, you have 1 year experience, you have exposed yourself to the area that you want to pursue as your career. So that is one way of making sure that you build up your experience.
Yes.
Voluntary experience is very key. And there are those organizations who are very keen in engaging someone who would give their service for free. And as you give your service for free, then you are able to get that experience you're looking for.
Okay.
Yes.
I hear you. So you need to be willing to work for free. Haven't you all done some free work, if you think about it, between college and getting your first job? Now, you've gotten the call, you've been confirmed, come for the interview. So I talked to a HR practitioner who told me the first thing that throws her off is when they have to call you and your skiza tune is very questionable. Let's say you're playing here at Family, and then you get your skiza tune is something that is danced to in the odd hours of the night. Maybe just talk about phone etiquette. What job seekers need to do?
Phone etiquette is very key. And I would encourage anybody who receives a call from any organization. The first thing you need to know is that there are many people who applied for that position.
Okay.
The fact that you're receiving a call, it means that the selection process has begun, and the organization wants to get in touch with you to invite you for an interview. Now, One, skiza tune, if it depends on the profession that someone is wants to get into. Of course, there are those jobs by their nature, they will not mind whichever skiza tune.
Yes.
But again, depending on the environment you're going to work for, it is good to have. It's actually, you can even remove those funny skiza tunes.
Yes.
Because the person calling, they are human beings, and they can ask very many questions about you. Apart from skiza tune, again, the caller is looking for someone who, even by the way they answer their question, that call, will tell whether that is someone who can be engaged or not. Sometimes it already gives an impression.
Okay.
So once someone receives a call, they need to be friendly. Sometimes it has happened to me. I call someone for an interview, and even the answer, the way it comes, naongea na nani, and the tone is very scaring.
Okay. Yeah.
And of course, because someone knows I applied for an interview, and I'm expecting a call in time. Before even you say what you want to say, someone will tell you, I can't hear you, please call me after 1 hour. Not even promising, allow me to call you after this number of minutes. Because you see, I do not know what you're going through or in which environment you're.
Okay.
So it is good to be courteous, ensure that your message is clear, your tone is friendly, your personality comes out as pleasant. So all those things build up. They start saying who you are.
Okay.
Again, depending on your
on the career.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So the interview basically begins from the phone conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking of those people who pick up phones and they say, Sema.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, Sema, what exactly?
Sema, ama, niaje? Yeah. Of course, if it is a marketing job, again, there are those traits a marketing job will require someone to have. But etiquette when you receive a call.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the dilemmas I've been in, even personally, is when someone speaks on the other end and they're telling you to come on a certain day, and they say, come to our office, and you don't know where their office is. So is this a good time to ask on phone, or do you wait to hang up and Google? What happens?
Engagement, conversation is two-way. If you've said something that is not clear to me, it is okay, it's professional to say, can I allow me to ask 2 questions? You mentioned I come on this date at this time. Where do I come?
Okay.
Where are your offices located? In a very professional way.
Okay.
And it helps if you receive a call and you're in a place you can't write anything. Let the caller know. Can I get somewhere to write, please?
Okay.
It is courteous. It is etiquette. If they say yes, then of course they will give you a few seconds to organize yourself and very fast pick a pen and a notebook. Ask them. You mentioned this and this date. Of course, again, it means unless you're called to a location which you don't know, because many times you're applying for a job, and even before you apply, you've already known this particular organization, what they stand for, what kind of products they deal with. Like in CIC, we deal with insurance products. The moment someone applies for a job, they already know that they are located in Upper Hill, Mara Road, the CIC Plaza. This floor is 10th, 11th, which floor? Many times people know. But if you're invited to a location that is not where you thought the organization is based, then ask for details very clearly and ensure you have understood every detail.
Okay.
And if there is something you have not understood, again, after calling, you can call back, But of course, you need to introduce yourself because
Yes.
there are many people calling the organization.
Okay.
That I was talking to so-and-so, just in case that call came from an exchange.
And or an extension line, I get
yes,
you.
yes.
Okay. Let's talk about email.
Yeah.
Again, HR practitioners, one of them told me, millennials, you guys don't write emails very well. So the first challenge we have is that people don't check their emails, which I find very bizarre, where you get a confirmation, but then you only see that a day after. So let's tell people what to do with their emails. Just email etiquette, basically.
Email etiquette. First, your email address must be professional. I have seen emails from candidates which are a bit weird. I would say weird.
What's weird, Brenda?
In terms of
Yes.
the name someone uses.
Okay.
You can't something gushy at CIC at Gmail, at Yahoo, at Hotmail. And this is someone who is called Mwenda Itumbiri, for instance.
Okay.
And you can't even relate. Others, of course, they would use words that I would not call friendly.
Okay.
I wouldn't even want to mention here. I saw an email, someone writing beach at Gmail. Beach.
Wait, what?
Yes, beach.
In order to get a job?
Yes, and they're actually applying for a job.
Okay.
And you see, already there's you're getting some impression. They may not be intending, or they may have forgotten what their email address is.
Or they even
but
opened
when
it in Campus.
Yes, when it comes, they opened it maybe when they were maybe a bit crazy, and then it comes out when they're applying for a job, and they forgot to have an appropriate email. So the email must be friendly.
Okay.
Actually, I would advise someone to have their name in their email.
Okay.
It's mwenda.itumbiri or mwenda.itumbiri at. Let the email, when it is coming, we know it's Medrin Nyabura who is coming. Once I receive an email, I'm receiving an email from an organization inviting me for an interview. And we have done that quite a lot. What the candidate should know is that even the organization that is writing this email is actually interested in this candidate.
Okay.
That is why the candidate has been shortlisted. And at CIC, we consider every person that we've invited for an interview as a potential employee.
Okay.
That is the first thing that we do. We consider this as a potential employee. And once you receive this email, many times we follow with a phone call, just to ensure that someone will check an email.
Okay.
But I would advise, if someone has applied for a job, during that period, because many adverts have a timeline.
Yes.
If you don't hear from this organization, from us, within this number of days, consider your application unsuccessful. So if within that period, you need to be checking. It is good to be checking your emails, even if you're very busy.
Okay.
So that it tells you are able to get the communication at the right time.
That's true.
And you don't miss that opportunity. I have seen where candidates start calling. The interview is actually going on. I have just seen this. Can I be allowed to come the day after tomorrow or a week after? And of course, you see, the panelists are people that are busy. So you can't convene them for just one person who missed an opportunity.
Okay.
So many people have lost opportunities in that sense.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just follow this up with the question. You know how sometimes you're caught up?
Yeah.
And there's a friend of mine who happened to be across the country when he was confirmed for a job here in Nairobi. Can you call and say, I'm not around? Can you suggest can you do a Skype? Can you do a phone call? Are you able to do that? Is the person looking for the job?
Yes. And what has happened when we call people, because the best practice is to give people enough time.
Okay.
You don't call someone for an interview to appear tomorrow or give them one day. You don't know where they are located. These are Kenyans who could be anywhere, including out of the country. Again, depending on the nature. But people who have who are especially interns in an organization, most likely they will be available one day because they are within.
Yes.
They are within the organization. But you best practice, give them enough time.
Okay.
We have called people and they have said, I am in Marsabit.
Yes.
And the earliest I can be in Nairobi is after 4 days.
Yes.
Is that okay? And of course, depending on the availability of others, again, depending on the skill.
Yes.
There are skills that perhaps are not in the market, specialist skills. So you also want to be flexible, depending on the level of that position.
Okay.
You become flexible where the skills are limited in the market. Yeah, where the skills are sufficient. There's a lot of supply in the market. Again, you may not give a lot of time to one person.
Yes.
You negotiate with them. If it works for both parties, well and good.
Okay.
You thank God for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then there's a risk you could lose the opportunity. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll also be asking Mwenda some of the questions that you asked, like tell me about yourself. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm not quite sure. Do I get personal? Do I talk about career? We'll be answering all those questions. If you have any 22316, text me and I'll front the question to him. Family TV, we are also live on Family Radio, and I'm with the guest Mwenda Itumbiri talking about your etiquette pre, during, and post interview. If you're just joining us, we talked about what you do pre-interview, and there are a couple of things still after you've gotten the confirmation for the interview. You need to understand, what time do I get to the interview location? Because I was telling you, sometimes someone comes running, it's 5 minutes to you, sweating, you don't even know where the bathroom is. So what's the best time to get there?
Again, best practice, when you are being invited, the information will be very clear, I am assuming, because that is what we do at the CIC Insurance. And even from the Institute of Human Resource Management, the HR practitioners are always reminded during our forums, whether monthly or otherwise. Someone will receive communication and will give them timeline.
Okay.
You're supposed to be, you will be interviewed at 10:30. You are encouraged to come 30 minutes earlier.
Okay.
And these 30 minutes earlier, sometimes it helps you, either there is some document you'll be required to fill, either some personal information the potential employer is looking for.
Okay.
But when you come late, running, and sometimes you can actually even miss the room that you had been advised because you're tensed and you're panicking, and that can compromise your chances of getting this position. So it is always good if it is a location that you've never been before, even a day before the interview. Do your research. Okay. You can even travel there. I have seen people who travel a day just to see the place where I will be coming, either 2 days after or the following day. Okay. So it is good to know where you're going and ensure that you organize yourself, plan yourself. Nairobi is a place we know about traffic. So never give an excuse. There was a lot of traffic, so I am late for the interview. It is not a good impression you're giving. Okay. Yes.
Say you woke up early. So I personally budget 2 hours. My God, we planned for 2 hours to get through Nairobi. And something happens. A tanker decides to roll over on Mombasa Road, and God forbid you cannot get anywhere at any time. How do I communicate that without sabotaging my opportunity for the interview?
Of course, there are those chances. There are those happenings that we have seen before. What I would advise is, if there is something that is extraordinary, something that is totally beyond your control. Yes. You have the number that called you for the interview. Look for it, make a call. Okay. When a call comes way before the interview time, you are taken serious, and your communication skills are already acceptable. Okay. Because you give the information beforehand. But when you call 5 minutes late, when you were required at 10:30, and you're calling at 10:40 to say, I am stuck. There's a tanker or there's a trailer or something blocking my way. was it an emergency? Is it how come this is the time you are seeing that tanker on the road?
Okay.
So you need to do that way in advance. Depending on the other candidates, because of course there are other candidates who are invited with you. It will be too unfortunate if the other candidates may have been interviewed or all of them are there and the interview is going on. You can only be. And what we have done in CIC is we schedule for another interview of that nature.
Okay.
For the same position in future. We just keep that profile in the database.
Okay.
For future consideration, if there is no way the person can get to the venue.
Okay.
But if they get to the venue before the panel concludes and the information had come that something has happened totally, road blocked, and it was in good time, and you find the panel still concluding with the last candidate, we give an opportunity to interview.
Okay, that's a lot of grace because some people will tell you, thank you for coming, try another day.
Yeah.
Dress code.
Yes.
Dress code is another one. Sometimes people wear a suit to a DJing job. Sometimes you're wearing a leather jacket to an office job. How do you dress and how do you even know what to wear?
Dress code is very key. And many people think that being smart for an interview is dressing in a suit for men or for women, skirt suits. But it depends on the nature of a job.
Okay.
It depends on the organizations. There are organizations in this country. It is not a DJ job. It is not something to do with using your hands to work, manual work. And they don't mind. They dress casual, business casual, every day. There are those organizations. There are organizations that are strictly, it is formal dress. So what I would advise the candidates is to do research, intelligence. What is this organization? What is their dress code? Which days do they dress down? If for many organizations on Fridays they dress down, even those that are
very official.
So if the interview is on a Friday, then you can actually check what would be advisable, what is acceptable for me to dress, and you dress appropriately. Of course, for ladies, it is again good to understand the environment. If possible, know where you will be, the interview will be held, and even the structure of the room. So that you don't find it is an open space and you're dressed in very short skirts. It can be very, very uncomfortable for you. And when you're very uncomfortable, you may not even be able to concentrate on the important things and questions you're being asked.
Okay. My producer is telling me that's true. There are people, you wear 6-inch heels and a very short skirt and you're trying to get somewhere. There's someone saying, you're saying hello, Ivan Kamau Irongo. Hi, Ivan. Thank you for your feedback. You're saying you're pursuing mathematics and computer science. Ivan, sounds like after internship. And you're also working at a GeoWorld Internationals and you aim at solving economic predicaments. You've also asked something personally. I'll respond to that. And someone is saying, let us see, what's the best dress code? What's the best hairstyle? Let's get to that. For ladies and men.
Traditionally, or in the past, the employers were very strict in terms of hairstyle. I can tell you for a fact, these days, it is not something that people care a lot. Again, hairstyle is part of dress code. So it depends on the organization. I see many ladies these days, they actually don't comb their hair. It is fashion.
It's called baby locks.
Those ones. Those ones. Those ones. And of course, I've made jokes sometimes to my colleagues or maybe professionals at the Institute of Human Resource friends that I want to buy you a comb. You forgot to comb your hair. But it is something I find it, they are smart, presentable. Again, depending on the organization you want to work for. If it is an organization that is not very keen with those hairstyles, it is good that you do not wear them.
Okay.
But those that are open to any, again, do your research. Because you want to give an impression that you can follow rules. If the rule is you have your hair neatly done, or those baby locks are not encouraged, please, for that particular day, you can come without them.
Okay.
But then once you get the job, you can talk to your HOD or understand whether that is something that is acceptable.
Okay.
You can even observe other ladies or other colleagues, how they dress.
Okay.
And you dress them.
That answers a lot of questions, because I know someone who covered their hair for a while as they grew their locks.
Yeah.
Then one day you unleash and everyone
And
is wondering.
are you the one? What has been happening? What are you up to?
Okay.
Yes.
I hear that. So some of the questions that are asked and people are very confused. Tell me about yourself. Mwenda, you and the panel, what do you want to hear me say exactly?
That's a too general question. And what the HR best practice for that, I would, I believe, and this is what we do in CIC. We do not ask someone, tell us about yourself, and wait for them to say, because that is a too general question.
Okay.
What we ask is, tell us about yourself, and as you do that, give reference to your qualification, experience, and exposure for this position. You are giving them the boundaries where they play. If you leave it open, you actually, sometimes you can disorient a candidate. They are not sure what they are talking about. Am I talking about my family? Am I talking about oranges or mangoes?
Right? Like I love dogs, I like cats.
Yes.
Okay.
So you just guide the candidate, because again, that question is even becoming outdated, because you actually know the candidate from the documentation they provided.
Yeah.
And someone made a joke. What if a candidate, you tell them, tell us about yourself, and then they tell you, but you have my profile, you called me because you know me. What would happen?
Okay.
Sometimes that is a question. It is when someone is talking about themselves, they settle down. They are easy, because when I'm talking about myself, I know myself too well. So any tension I had when I'm talking about myself, because I know myself, I settle down and I'm able to be interviewed properly.
Okay.
So that question is important, but it depends on how it is framed.
Okay.
Yes.
So if they don't clarify and tell me it's within the boundaries of the position, what would you advise, that I stick to the career question, or what happens? I don't get personal?
What you would do, it is, again, within your right as an employee, as an interviewee, to say, do I talk about my qualification experience, or what else should I include?
Okay.
Ensure that it is clear what you're be answering.
Okay.
Yes, because sometimes you can be asked that question, and someone in the panel just wants to know how much you can engage. How self-starting are you?
Okay.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yeah.
When they say, tell us about your weaknesses and strengths, and I'm thinking, how do I talk about my strengths? It doesn't sound like I'm bragging about what I can do. And for the weaknesses, how do I not come off as the wrong candidate? Because if you say my weakness is I lose my temper, surely.
What the person should know, and it is, you must be very honest in an interview.
Okay.
Tell the panel. If it is a panel, tell them what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. It helps to understand or to know someone who is aware of themselves. It is called emotional intelligence.
Okay.
When there's self-awareness, I know myself, then it means I can self-manage. I can manage myself, and therefore I am able to fit in a team very well.
Okay.
And that is called relationship management, because I understand myself, I understand others. When I understand myself, I know my weakness, I know my strength. So, and those who know there are some weaknesses that they think they are working on, because when you discover your weakness, it is not enough to just know that you're weak in this area. It is good to also know what you're doing about it, especially if it can affect other team members.
Okay.
Because for you to fit in an environment, in a work environment, you must come with traits that can make you cohesive in that team.
Okay, so
Yes.
be honest about it.
Be
but
honest about
also-
yourself. Tell them.
Okay.
And nobody can, you can't, in a good environment where, because everybody is a human being and we are different.
Okay.
We have diversity. And this diversity can be, some of us are weak in this area. I am hot, maybe short-tempered, or this and this happens. So it is, when you come in a team, you ask yourself, how do I fit in? And that fitting in is because we allow you the way you are, because we understand you and we understand your weakness. If you're short-tempered, then what are those things that make you become angry and react in an inappropriate way?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I hear you. Also, when they ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm sure if Uhuru was asked this question, he would not say 2 elections. But where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Again, focused employees, focused candidates know what they want. I have met candidates in interviews who spell their 5-year, even 10-year, and they actually know when they will exit. Unemployment is like, I would talk about it like the way you get into a bus. You get into a bus and you're many people in a matatu now in Kenya, we call it matatu. You get into a matatu. Every person in that matatu is not going to the same place.
That's true.
Each person in that matatu now in unemployment, in an organization, they know where they will exit. And it is only people who are not very clear where they are headed who will not be. Utasikia mtu amepitishwa, kisha nimepitishwa. Either they were asleep or they didn't really plan for their journey very well.
That's
something,
true.
yes, their mind was taken away by something. Then someone passes where they were supposed to alight from. So an employee should be very clear, or a candidate. If you ask me for 5 years, my next 5 years, it is very clear what I want to achieve and where I want to be. And an employee a candidate who doesn't know where they would want to be, it may not be that it will happen 100%.
Yeah.
But it is always good to hire people who are focused, who understand their journey, what they want to achieve for that particular employer before they exit.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, it is very interesting. Sometimes, I think the last interview I had, I interviewed someone who is at an entry level, just a fresh graduate, who said that they want to be CEO in 5 years' time. And when you look at the career they are pursuing, even in 10 years, they may not be a CEO in that particular industry.
So you listen to their dreams.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, you just listen.
Yeah, and yes, of course, it is not good to exaggerate. Just be very clear. Don't tell the panel you want to be CEO, because sometimes they may ask, what are you really saying? What are you doing? Because the next question will be, what are you doing
to be a CEO?
What are your plans? And then they get lost. So don't just say something to impress the panel. Just say something. Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking, if I came here, I told my MD that in 5 years I want to be an MD. Do you know how long it took him to get there?
Absolutely. Precisely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask about why are you leaving your current job?
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't say, I'm leaving my current job because my boss is right? You're not going to say that at an interview.
Yeah.
So how do you say it respectfully and don't look like you're sort of gossiping your current employer? Yeah.
There are many reasons that make people leave their current jobs. In HR, we normally say people do not leave their organizations. People leave their managers.
Okay.
Now, that is one reason why people leave their jobs. The other thing is they feel they may have outgrown that role.
Okay.
And it has become so repetitive, they don't feel challenged anymore.
Okay.
Others leave because they want more money. And of course, the young people right now are moving from one place. In
Yes.
fact, the loyalty is no longer something that we talk about.
Is it that bad?
Yes, we are learning, and even at the institute, I think one of the forums we had the other day from the Institute of Human Resource Management, we were discussing about loyalty of millennials.
Okay.
Who will actually come and tell you, I am here for maybe 6 months, and 6 months, after 6 months, I want to be elsewhere. And they are very honest. That is who they are. So it is when you are asked why you want to leave your current, get there. Of course, you can't say that my boss, we are fighting, or there are issues.
Yeah.
Because again, it is expected that you will not have everything smooth everywhere you
Even where you are applying for.
even where you're planning to go. Organizations are dynamic. You will find an issue, one issue or another. An issue becomes a bother to you. It is not a bother to any other employee. Okay. And you feel you want to go. You may be, the organization you're working for may not be, you don't see future in it. That's another reason why people leave. Not because their managers, any issues, or they want more money, they don't think there is job security. Okay. The organization may not be a going concern for they can't see the future of that organization. So get the one of those reasons. They may be 3 reasons, but just say 2 without becoming emotional.
That's true.
Yes, just say the best 2 that are not as giving you any emotional. I mean, you do not become emotional. Okay. Yeah.
Or just say, I'm looking to grow or something. Come up with something.
Yeah, but of course, you may be asked, what growing? What are you stunted? Where you are? What is happening? Okay. And again, it be just say something that. That is true, because you list any time you want to leave an employment for another one, list 3 reasons. Why? Okay. And let them be convinced about those 3. I am leaving because there is no future of this company. I'm leaving because I don't see myself recognized for my effort. Okay. I'm leaving because I want to grow. I am leaving because I want more money. There is someone I interviewed, and he said, I am leaving my employment because I want more money. I have 3 children, and a fourth one is coming.
That's very honest.
They were honest. But of course, that is not something you want to say in an interview.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I hear you. I'll also be asking you, what do you do when they ask you about the money?
Yes.
But first, you need to listen to a song. In the meantime, keep sending your questions. Thank you for all those who've sent your questions. I think we responded to them. And I'll ask him more questions. And then also you answer the question. And someone says, we'll call you after 10 days. What am I supposed to do in the meantime? All that. But for now, we listen to the song Through It All. We're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, talking about how to ace and win that interview that you've been dying to get. You know how people are looking for jobs in this country. So how about we tell you what you can do to make sure you get the interview and the position? And there's this question now this one makes me sweat personally. What were you earning in the previous company? Or what are you earning now? And what are your salary expectations? What is your salary expectation? Sorry. And sometimes I'm thinking, what's the line between greed and undervaluing yourself? Yeah.
I would never consider someone greedy if they ask for a higher salary than what perhaps the structure of that particular organization is. Okay. And it depends on first of all, you need to do your background check, your research, intelligence. And in some industries, they are very small. People know at this level, this is the salary range. Okay. And I can place myself anywhere in between the bands. So when you're asked what is your salary expectation, you actually say something that is reasonable. Okay. You understand your responsibility will be changing if you're looking for a higher position than where you currently are. Okay. If that is the case, you quote a salary that you think you are okay with it. But again, quoting this, some people have been may be comfortable with 25,000, while the position they're interviewing for pays 100K.
I have been in that situation
Yes.
where I underestimated the role.
Yes, because you see, when you do a good research, you understand that in that particular organization, this is where you may not even have information about that organization, but you may have friends of friends who are your friends in a similar organization, who can guide you. Not necessarily telling you the actual salary level, but at least a range that would be, my salary expectation is around 100K. What is the range for this position? Ask people and network with people. The Institute of Human Resource Management, actually July is the HR month, and they have been organizing career fairs and going to universities and colleges, just having engagement with the graduates or people who are graduating, just to guide them. And those networks sometimes help in terms of knowing where would this position, this is an entry-level position, what is the salary range? And if you know the salary range, then you can quote something around there. But again, something within the responsibility. Yes, you are the role you are interviewing for.
I feel like we needed 3 hours to cover this because I still have questions in regards to what to do during the interview. But our time is almost done. So let's just give it maybe 2 minutes post-interview. We've had people who've said, sometimes as a HR, you're actually stalked on social media or text, or your company, someone keeps calling, did you get the job? Did someone else get it? You promised to call me, you didn't call me. So let's give post-interview etiquette, what to do and what not to do.
When we are concluding the interviews, you find the candidate will be given information. At CIC, we tell the candidates, thank you for coming for the interview. Thank you for your time. You will hear, or if the selected candidate will hear from us within 14 days or 21 days, depending on the role again, because there are roles that may take a little longer.
That's true.
The senior the role is, the more time it will require for analysis to be done and determination for the person selected. But others, within 14 days, you will be able to finalize the analysis and actually know which candidate was the best fit for that position. So at CIC Insurance Group, we guide the candidate that within this number of days, you will hear from us. Now, if you have already been given that information, it would not be appropriate, and I would guide the candidates not to start calling the following morning, because where you may have a contact of a person who works for that organization, they may not even be aware of the stage of the analysis of those particular interviews, and maybe you are calling them. I understand. I got your number from so and so, and I understand you work for CIC Insurance Group or any other organization. Do you know who they picked? Are they through with the analysis? And that is just a day after. And of course, some of them even go to the extent of calling the exchange, the extension. Can I talk to the HR department? Anyone in the HR department? Because again, at CIC, we introduce the panel. When we welcome the candidate, we introduce the panel. Of course, this panel will be leading you through a short or brief discussion about this position. This is so and so, this is so and so, and this is so and so.
Most of the times,
they have the name. So someone can. Of course, this has not happened, but I would say if you know the name of the panelists. And you call and say, give me so and so from this particular department. And then you're asking, mulichukua mtu? How long should I wait? And of course, you had already given the timeline, which has not ended. That would not be appropriate. It's not courtesy, I would say.
Okay.
It's not courtesy, and it's not etiquette. It's good to wait until that time comes.
Okay.
And because unless an organization, that time has ended, the time they had given is over, and there is no communication, you
Yes.
can actually call
Okay.
to ask, did you finalize this? But of course, give it like 2-3 days or a week for that matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I literally have 60 seconds. I just want you to very quickly touch on social media platforms. Do you check social media platforms as HR practitioners?
Sharing in terms of looking for candidates from that. Yes, but in CIC we do not advertise through the social media. What we do, we advertise through the CIC insurance website.
Okay. And
Yes.
if I do get the interview after you've gotten my name, do you go on social media to check?
Sometimes, if need be, again depending on the role,
Okay.
we would check to understand the candidate.
Okay.
And in CIC, we may not be very keen, again depending on the nature of our industry.
Okay.
But there are those organizations that will go to the LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and to see the kind of friends, the kind of discussions, and the kind of postings people have.
Okay.
How they have presented, the photos they have presented. And that tells you a lot about someone.
Okay.
So I would, depending on the industry someone wants or their career interest, it is good that you ensure that you're professional throughout, unless the job you're looking for is of that nature that would require.
Wanda, I have to cut you off.
Yeah.
You're literally out of time. Thank you so much for giving us so much clarity. There's someone else who's asked a HR question. I think we'll answer you offline. But for now, thank you so much for watching the show. We'll be here tomorrow 6 to 7, but it starts on Radio 4 to 6. My name is Medrin Nyambura. Have a good night and wait for Jack Todumusi. I can see we've already started sending prayer items. He'll be here in like a minute, literally.